So I look around and I think I've been here at least 35 years. So in London, not always in the studio, but I grew up in Italy. So I think it must have had an importance in the way I look at space. And I had quite a free education because I went maybe to school the first time in my life when I was 16. So the rest was home education. I have to say, yes, space, lights, tones, architecture were always important because they were part of my surrounding. What is behind the making of architecture? How rich is this field in thought, in anthropological knowledge, if it's about the past, in concern about the future, in the artistic level? I realized that suddenly it was this very, very rich field. I'm kind of a slow and meditative person. I'm not an action, so I can never be a reporter. And in my time, to be in the front of a wall looking at the light for one day, for me, it's a wonderful thing. Why did I do this then? It was just coming from very deep inside that was the only way I could photograph. And this is something I always keep saying, especially for the young, trust some of your very early instinct, because that's a precious moment. You have to develop it later, but it's very, very important. I really like to make a lot of analogy just to understand my work with music. And you can have a beautiful sound, but if you don't have a rich score, your music is going to be limited. So my score was the architecture. That's what interests me. And then on top of that, you also have the thinking of the architect that made a gesture, that had a first dream before to do this gesture. And I was also very lucky because people I met were Daniel Libeskind, John Haddon, Zaha Hadid. I mean, people of an incredible talent. I think it's very important as a photographer to develop a language. I photograph with film, a completely dedicated analog photographer. I'm more interested in the difficulty, in the limitation. And all of those steps of the making allows you to enter a kind of concentration. There's a part of our creativity that goes into another level. We all know that working with your hand and thinking through your hand, it's something very special. This project of photographing Jewish house for a book, it was initiated by Juliet, Carey and Abigail Green, but the connection came through a friend that we have in common, which is Ruth Uhl. This book that talks about the gesture the Jewish family did to build, there's a dream. And the fact that there's a dream and it is photography, for me, was a nice challenge. Also because it allows me to enter the world of the different family, very different condition, very different buildings, some historical building like the Tugendhat house by Mies van Roo. But when you enter the house, you are immediately confronted with a series of rooms that comes to the garden and to the winter garden, the part which is closed with glass. And I loved it at the end because I felt completely encapsulated in that world. Theodor Reinach wanted to create a world that was more fair, and he thought the Greek system was the fairest of our world politically. So it is an absolute delight to enter a home of a person that lived in 1850 roughly and created something out of his dream to have the opportunity to express his desire for a more right and fair world. So it is a fantasy. Another villa pleasant to do is the Villa Liebermann, because he was a painter. So the light was very important for him, but he was painting out of his gardens. But the whole wall of the house have a special texture to reflect the right amount of light to paint. So this gesture of creating an ideal condition to work was very touching. To photograph space, it's to put together different volume, different shape, different line, and to create a space that is unique because of the moment of the day, the light, my camera, the lens, and my intent. You are there in a room and you have to do a photograph that will work as it is. I never crop anything.
So the frame, it's something very absolute for me. It's my gesture. It's to say yes now. And this yes now, it's part of the joy of photography. It's part of the power of photography.